Alright guys, now's the time. It's for our review for Battlefield Hardline for the PC.
Steel Battalion for the original Xbox. My bad, I thought you got the memo.
So Steel Battlefield for the Xbox One.
The original Xbox.
The Dreamcast?
Original Xbox. Steel Battalion. It's a very good game for a very old system, but it still works.
The 360.
The original Xbox, the one that predates the 360.
The PS2.
A little after that. Totally separate company.
You mean that big monster box that nobody played?
The one that killed my cat, yes. The original Xbox.
Okay.
Still works, by the way. No red ring of death.
Steel Battlefield Hardline for the Xbox.
Close. No hardline.
Steel Battalions for the Xbox.
Original Xbox. Yes.
Alright, so like you guys saw on the bumper, we're playing Steel Battlefield Hardline.
Steel Battalion.
Steel Battalion.
Close enough.
For the Xbox One.
For the original Xbox.
Okay. This is...
Lord, lift your gun, man. Lift your gun.
Don't drink the
Lift
pilot.
the gun.
Hey, motherfucker, I can drink a pot all the hell I want. Tell me what to do. You ain't my mama, nigga.
But this game, well, you guys are gonna see, is just like a really... It's low res, and to be honest, when we played this thing back on the original Xbox, when, you know, what you compared it to was Halo, and Halo looked great back then to us. This still looked like shit.
Very.
The graphics are super low res, but...
And that bridge is also uncloaking, by the way.
Yeah, we're slowly going through a cloaking field.
In the future, they have stealth technology.
These are my partners. They are about as smart as... their collective IQ is slightly higher than a rock, a dead beetle, 3 rats, and a left testicle. I'm going to show off a little bit and play with my railgun. Because I am not feeling this motherfucker. Kia, bitch! Doom!
Oh, I bet you hit the bridge.
I thought I missed.
Yeah, it's, the bridge is a little low-hanging.
Oh, you almost got me.
This game was developed as just kind of a way to sell this peripheral. So when they were developing this game, and I'll show a picture of the peripheral on the screen.
Peripheral.
Awesome. This gigantic controller, which is just awesome in its own right. There's 40 buttons, 2 joysticks, 3 foot pedals, a gear switch. I mean, this whole thing is really awesome.
It's got a dial and the 5 buttons too.
Yeah.
You can call for help. You can talk to your co-pilots. In Steel Battalion Line of Contact, you can actually use the same button setup to talk to other players.
Yeah, real players, and not like just fake ones, but the real ones.
humans. And then the thing is, they have the mech.
Even though they were all Japanese, and so you couldn't understand what they were saying.
They had a mech that was actually called the sheepdog, and that's essentially, if you're talking to your players for too long and the sheepdog is within range, it can listen to you.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
but
I learned that the hard way.
I mean, since the original Xbox,
the
original Xbox controller port was just a modified. It was a proprietary USB, and that's all it is. And so they could literally do anything that you could plug a normal USB into, whereas, you know, like a PlayStation or PlayStation 2 at the time, definitely not GameCube. I mean, those were just kind of modified. I'm not even sure what they were, but they were proprietary connectors that weren't really that interesting. But Microsoft had to use pretty much everything off the shelf components, and that's why the system was so big. So they figured we needed something. We need something not only that'll really show off how useful the proprietary connector is, but also something that's going to appeal to the Japanese market. And as we all know, the Japanese fucking love giant mechs.
Oh, so do I.
And it's really popular for the Americans as well, but this game sold better, I think, in Japan than it did here in America, even though the Xbox market was terrible in Japan. It was absolutely terrible. But this game sold like hotcakes over there.
Engaging override.
Oh shit. Ludicrous speed!
Can I fall? Am I gonna fall? Yes, here we go!
Get out the way!
You almost fall over.
Get out the way, bitch.
So yeah, this game surprisingly had a sequel.
Which actually was really good despite the fact it had such a limited fan base, and it's understandable because for a $200 controller and a game with slightly updated graphics and online play, it didn't seem like it was really worth its money. But for those of us that did get it and did play online, it actually was worth it. You got much, excuse the term, but it was more bang for your buck.
I'm not going to excuse that.
I'm
That's
offended.
inexcusable.
Fuck both of
I'm
you.
offended. That's our word.
So, do you think if they were to release a new one, and
I would get it in a heartbeat.
But do you think there would be enough of a market of people who either had this old controller and they released a connector for it, or they released a new one? Do you think it would sell at the $200?
If they did the same thing they did with Line of Contact, where if you already had the original game, you don't have to buy the controller. It was the same price for your standard game. I feel like it would have the same market if what they did, however, was remake the controller, update the graphics, maybe make the mechs move a little more streamlined, and they kind of cheapen the price. Yeah, I feel like it would sell.
Do you think they'd have to cheapen it? Because like what I'm starting to see is people are spending more on video games now.
Yeah,
and
that's
what I'm saying
for
is
things like the Kinect.
Whether or not they like
Right.
it or deserve
While
it.
there's contention whether or not $60 is worth every shitty game that comes out for $60, I feel like the price of games has become just something that gamers are willing to invest in. Whereas when this first came out, this was something you'd save up for. You'd buy one game a month or one game every couple of months. And I think that's changing now, where you're getting every AAA title. So if they sold this for $200 and put some extra software that would come out for it, if they supported it for a year or two, do you think there would be that market there?
And that's an interesting thing. It would be something that they would have to double down on. I mean, they would really have to invest in it, because otherwise it's going to be really hard for them to just say, hey, we remade this and it's expensive and we don't know how long it's going to last. Whereas at least the whole idea, because you commented before we started recording, Nude Maker, the company, that developer and the producer, Atsushi Anaba, or whatever his name is.
Atsushi Anaba!
Yeah, he...
Akira Toriyama! Hadouken!
Shut the fuck up! The whole thing was to make a product-focused project. And so the whole idea was to make a game to sell the controller, to sell the peripheral. This is a time-honored tradition. That's why they made the Transformers, to sell the toys.
Yeah, right.
And this was the same idea. But this turned out to be just a really cool thing. This was always just an idolized game that I had, and I always loved watching you play when you had it. Because it's just really entertaining to watch somebody that's good at it.
Uh-oh.
It's the middle one.
I don't know. But
Stop fucking with it.
Beer in it.
Is that seriously not working?
Yeah.
Well, great. Now we broke the $200 controller. Yep, there it went.
All right. Problem solved. Oh shit. Yeah. What I think they need to do is something along the lines of what they did for Armored Core, where the game itself online is an expansive community because there's so many different things you can do. Yeah, it's Line of Contact itself was pretty good because you can actually join the two different factions.
Unfortunately, Line of Contact was kind of like Shadowrun or something like that, where it was purely online, or Titanfall for more modern people. It was only online. Yeah,
there was no specific story. It was essentially, it took place during the main game, and you picked. Oh, you motherfucker! You're standing over my head, you addicted little shits.
And so for a game that came out in 2003, the servers went down in 2005. I mean, the game, the second, Line of Contact.
Oh, you did.
Took a hit, boy. But yeah, it was super unfortunate just to see a game that had so much potential and so much love from the fans that just it didn't make the numbers to continue on. And it was a price point thing now.
The demographic for the game just wasn't big enough. Like, it's somebody like me, I would dive all over. I did when it came out. I creamed my panties. It was unbelievable. And the online fan base actually was a lot larger than you'd think.
Yeah, and then we're also talking for people, for kids. I mean, because at the time, very much so at the time, and this could be debated, but I think at the time it was pretty much a kid thing still to play video games as much. Well, it wasn't until like 2008, 2009, that gaming started to become so mainstream because all the kids that gamed in the early 2000s, late 90s were in college and telling everybody, hey, you got to get that new Call of Duty, bro.
Well, the original Xbox though was really made for teenagers. Like it wasn't for kids. It was for these like
It was for us.
early
It
20s.
was
right. Well, we were.
Yeah,
younger
but
than
still,
that,
you're
you
living
know,
at home, and
Right.
you don't really have your own space. So, like at the time, your Xbox was meant to be played in some small TV off to the side, so Dad can have his TV in the living room.
Right.
So it was a lot to ask of somebody to have a desk to play on, because this is a controller the size of a skateboard plus foot pedals. So you're asking a lot of real estate space for a console that is meant to be played as you're huddled over almost in the fetal position.
Oh, you motherfucker!
Wherever you can set it up.
Oh, I think another big problem with it is, I guess the point I was going back to with price point before was, and then I know this was 2002, so that's 12, 13 years ago. Now $200 is still kind of a lot to spend on a game, but back then it was even more. I mean,
yeah, it was $200 for a game.
There's been a lot of inflation since then, and so when you think about it, that's probably closer to $300.
Yeah, $300 to $350. I mean, you're basically paying the price of a console for a game.
Right, and so
I just feel like
if it was $200 now, I think people would be more willing to buy it, but you'd have to have the software for it. And I think this is, we were talking before we started recording about the PS4 and how, it's a great system, but there's no proprietary software.
Going to die.
There's games that are also on the Xbox, but they don't have any good games of their own, with the exception of Bloodborne. And so I think
in your face.
That's the problem we're seeing with this is, you had one game that you could play on, another one that came out that just wasn't supported after 2 years.
Get him.
I am a
Get him.
Smack the shit out of him.
Who the fuck?
Got Nick?
Who did that? What was you?
God damn it, Jerry.
Fucking take my kill, bitch.
Damn it, Red 2. That's why you always die in Star Wars.
God damn it.
Oh, you couldn't stop that from coming. Kill stealing son of a bitch. Come here.
X-Ray 3, this is X-Ray 1. Do you read?
Don't talk to me anymore.
Copy X-Ray 3. Over.
Initiate self-destruct.
Can't do any more good. Disengage.
Roger. X-Ray 3 disengaging now.
So $200 for a large peripheral, really cool peripheral on maybe a really well-known game that's coming out. I think this game, had it launched today on the latest generation, probably would be awesome.
Well, they would also put it in a pack with the console. So
that's what this game came like as one unit. It was
right.
You had to assemble the controller.
No, it never came with a console.
And what they would do is they would pack it now, like they do with all the other games. So you would spend $700 instead of the $550 plus the $200. You save like $50 on it, but you also get the game, the console, and the...
Yeah, and so it's kind of like what they did with the Kinect. They doubled down with that,
Right.
and they're like, okay, well, yeah, we're making you pay a little extra for the Kinect, but down the line, you're going to be able to use it for more. It's kind of like, it's the same argument that everybody had with a racing wheel,
Right.
If you really like driving games, you're going to buy a racing wheel. So you wanted to buy, a decent one, not like a cheap-ass one, but a pretty decent one that
Like the shitty Wii one.
Yeah, it's just a
Put the controller in,
frame.
it doesn't work.
Yeah, and what's worse is it had some sort of identification to it, because if you ever raced online with it, it told people that you were racing with the wheel. It was, you unlocked something, I think in Mario Kart 7, if you won an 8-man online race using the wheel, which was impossible because fuck that.
Who the fuck would buy the wheel?
Well, it came with the game.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, you could buy a game without it, but you could buy the game with it.
I figured I played a mission with the cutscene.
So you can see they spared no expense on these cutscenes.
Yeah, like all $12 budgets. Like you could see right with Michael Bay's about to bust a nut.
This is kind of what the first Halo looked like, though. Like, this isn't really
There's
that
some
much
sort of
worse.
weird filter on it, though, because you can see the corners of the screen are kind of blurred,
Well,
and that's how it always was.
They added to be a little grittier.
Wonderful, beautiful explosions.
Yeah, there's some sort of weird filter to it that I just really don't like, and if they just made
like
it
a brown
crisp, it would
scale,
Well, yeah, without the filter, it would just make it look like shit anyway. It would show you how bad the graphics are.
None of those helicopters made it. None of them.
Do they ever?
But the thing is, like, you would think that if you're delivering these mechs, you would have some sort of
Oh,
protection
hello.
for your... You were late to the party.
I also completely forgot that there's no startup sequence. It literally just drops you on your balls and, all right, Tiger, go have at him. Go get him. Turn this back down here.
So, Dan, give us the story lore.
All right, so right now I am a part of what's called the Pacific Rim Forces, or the PRF for short. And the guy I'm shooting now belongs to the Hai Shidao Forces, or the HSD for short. For whatever reason, the Hai Shidao Forces, excuse me, withdrew from the Pacific Rim Forces. I don't know why I'm standing. Oh, because I'm using him as a shield. Hai Shidao Forces seceded from the Pacific Rim Forces, staged an all-out attack on them, and then withdrew all their military and political assets. For whatever reason, it's not completely explained. I have reason to believe. Ow.
Take that hit.
Gonna take this right in the butt.
See, this is where the kaiju just knocked us out because they were all warring against each other.
Yeah, actually, that's exactly what happened. No, they separated, and I have reason to believe that it's because they allied with a mercenary group with the promise of new technology and some kind of nonsense. What you find out later through the missions is that the Geralax unit, the mercenary group, they come up short on their promise by a couple of months. Ooh, I hate these guys. Essentially, in the coming months after the HSD separates from the PRF, and they blitzkrieg all kinds of crazy attacks, the PRF is finally able to mobilize a vertical tank unit. They're able to remobilize their army and take back the lands and the islands that they lost.
Because I'm not sure if we ever specified that what you're driving right now is a mech called a vertical tank or a
Yes.
VT.
I am piloting the 3rd generation VT.
AKA
A vertical tank is a VT for short.
Yeah.
a not Gundam.
Yeah, not Gundam.
Not mech
Technically,
warrior.
this is a Gundam class compared to what I'm fighting. These are all 2nd generation units that I'm fighting against. The hell is Pete? Alright. Now, zoom this out. There's supposed to be somewhere where I might get clusterfucked in it.
Now the funny thing is, this game was originally developed for the PS2.
Really?
Yeah, they originally were, because they're Japanese, so it's
okay.
Sony camp. But then when they first got word that the Xbox was being released, they switched to that for the greater power because there was more power to it.
I cannot imagine how much shittier the graphics would have been.
I honestly, looking back on it, probably no different. I mean,
It probably wouldn't run as smooth. Like I think the graphics wouldn't have taken a hit, but it would have been less. I guess just
The fuck was that?
you wouldn't be able to have a controller like this,
right.
because there just
Ooh.
wasn't communication.
I'm being
because
attacked from
the the controller part is USB 1.1.
Lord Jesus, I'm getting fucked up. Oh, there he is. That is what a vertical tank looks like before I kill it.
Or it kills you. Now, in this game,
Who is it? What do you want?
Is
Oh, you're gonna die, aren't
is
you?
your VT stronger than these guys? Or
Well,
do they actually make them like
Depending.
equal in strength so that
I
it is
get-
based on
Oh.
pilot?
That's what I get. The VT is only as strong as I piloted it. And as you can see right now, I am the weak link. Oh, no you don't.
So Line of Contact, what was the campaign in that like? Even though it
There
was
was
all
a no son of a bitch.
Eject!
eject.
What the fuck?
You
I was pressing the button.
Oh, in
Oh,
memory.
that's sad.
Oh, I died. That's craziness. Shit.
June 1200.
You know, I successfully made an ejection out of a VT.
Oh, successfully
you-
eject
you-
on your forehead.
You ejected because a mosquito flew on the camera.
It's huge! Ah!
It landed right on the camera, man.
Yeah. No, what was I going to say?
Line of Contact. What was the story in that?
There
Or
was no
there?
particular story mode. Like what all Line of Contact was you're playing as another VT unit in this war, in this exact war. Huh?
So you're just another VT unit in the same war. So
Yeah.
it's more of just this same. Well,
It's essentially like while this war is going on, you're fighting the same battle in different parts of the world. you're reclaiming parts that have been taken over by the Haishidao forces, or you're supporting the Pacific Rim forces as they reclaim another place or secure a foothold. The online missions were always something along the lines of player versus player, some form of capture the flag, or I think it was like procure the container or something like that. The missions were always versus. There was never like a co-op anything unless you're playing with other teammates to essentially kill your opponents, which were also humans. There was no set story mode, which I kind of enjoyed to a degree because it gave you space to create your own story. Like, if you wanted to, you could, like, I don't know, go Stardust Memory on, okay, well, we're playing the game Procure the Cases, which is kind of like capture the flag. What it would be like, all right, well, this case was stolen, so this has prototype VTs in it. We're trying to claim this back from the enemy. So you could do so many different things along, like, think of what's the name? Titanfall. It's kind of like Titanfall, less story.
Well, that's not saying much, because Titanfall's campaign was just online purely.
Yeah, that's Line of Contact. Line of Contact was strictly online. It was a little bit of a story, but you'd have to play the first game to understand it.
Yeah, Titanfall with this fucking controller would be amazing.
Titanfall with this controller, I would probably be at my house playing it right now.
So you gotta hit your cockpit over there. And hopefully I'm smart enough how to do switching back and forth between videos here.
So this is a test of video editing.
Always at it again.
This is going to be an interesting test of myself.
Come on!
Wonder if it just didn't do it by itself last time.
No.
Oh, there you go.
The fuck?
Alright.
That worked.
The cool buttons, flashes, and start. Cool.
Now here we go. Start off in second gear because you're initially going to go slow in the water.
It's pronounced water.
Water.